Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. Our mission is to see a world well led. And our strategy to get there? To empower leaders like you to lead every day. So let's get to work.
In any walk of life, if you look at someone who is achieving their potential, you'll typically find a coach behind them. It's a great reminder today with our question that we have here on the Lead Everyday show. Should I hire a coach? That's what came in. That's what Mark and I are going to talk about today. I'm Randy Gravitt.
I'm Mark Miller.
And we're glad that you have joined us for today's episode. Should I hire a coach? Love that. And if so, what am I looking for? Really was the second part of that. So, Mark, let's talk about coaching. I know it's one of the things that we're passionate about. It's one of the things our company does, which is fun. We have an opportunity to do a lot of coaching with a lot of leaders everywhere. But I'm going to be in the camp that believes every single person should have a coach. And I remember years ago, I think this first hit me when I was watching. We're watching nowadays these athletes that are, Patrick Mahomes been on a little bit of a rampage here, won 3 Super Bowls, and you look at this guy, and I said a few days ago I think we're undervaluing the importance of Andy Reid, what he's been able, because Patrick Mahomes was really good in college, but this guy is just flourishing. It's incredible. And I love what's going on in the modern, Patrick Mahomes. But I think years ago when I was watching, we're old enough to, most people can remember Tiger Woods, but they may not remember him at the height of his powers. And he was so good and so dominant. And it was, you remember the days where everybody was saying, who's going to win, Tiger, or do you want to take everybody else? You could literally bet Tiger or the field. It'd be 150 guys. I think he's going to win. You could put money on that, which is kind of wild. And it was, I think, at that point when I saw he was working, back in the days he was working with Butch Harmon, and he's at his very best. And he was this guy, and I'm thinking, this is the greatest golfer on the planet. And this guy named Butch Harmon why does he need a coach if he's the very best? And you start watching, going that, and then it was not long after that, Peyton Manning. I'm watching old Tom Moore was his quarterback coach, and this guy at the highest level, mentally, he's playing this position such a high level. The coach is so important. The best of the best. You look at the best musicians, the best communicators, the best business. The best of the best are constantly looking, who can help me level up my game. There's some reasons they think that way, but I'm big on this.
Yeah, and I know you and I both have had a lot of coaches over the years. I've had a golf coach. In fact, I'm looking for a new golf coach.
You said that. We
looking for a new golf coach.
We got to get you connected. That's good.
I've had coaches that would help me with my physical fitness. I've had coaches to help me with communication. I've had coaches to help me with my life coaches. Yeah. I'm with you. I think it's another level. It's a different strategy for finding fresh eyes, but it's the same concept.
It ties back into the mentorship we talked about yesterday.
Mentorship,
right.
That's one way to
this
get
is
fresh
more
eyes.
formal, probably.
This is more formal.
Yeah.
And I think you can expect even more. I expect a lot from mentors,
right.
but mentors are doing it for free.
Right.
You're paying coaches. And I think they'll bring a higher level of accountability, potentially higher frequency, maybe
sometimes higher expertise even.
Maybe higher expertise, because you can go and specifically look at somebody to help you with one thing that you want to get better at.
Right.
I'm a huge fan, and I think they add so much value. I hope to be working with coaches the rest of my life.
Yeah. Okay, so the follow-up of it was, where do you find one? You got thoughts on where you go looking?
Well, I think there's some things you got to consider. One is domain expertise, as we just referenced. You may still get a generalist when you're thinking about, I need to be a better leader, and I know a guy or a gal who's a great leader and they can help me. But you may want to get better at vision casting or capital allocation, or pick something really specific. So if you're going to hire somebody, I think the first thing to consider is their expertise. Now, we're going to talk in a minute. You got to figure out what you can pay for, but don't start with the price.
Right.
Start with what do you need and who can teach you that. Another thing I would say is to think about their values. Now, they don't have to believe everything you believe. You may not even share the same worldview, but if you're trying to become an uncommon leader and all they're trying to do is figure out how to extract value from people.
Yeah, that's not going
And-
to. There's misalignment
And
there.
their past clients are basically men and women who go in and dismantle organizations and sell them. That's great. But if that's not what you're trying to do, I think I would lump
Don't
that
use them, and that's
Yeah.
that's what you're looking
lump
for.
that
Yeah.
in a category called values. I would also ask about their methodology. Again, lots of options here. Some coaches do face-to-face work, some do virtual work, some do a combination. Some like to meet weekly, some meet once a month, some like to meet quarterly. Any number. Some like to do retreats. So I think the methodology, you don't have to even fully understand it, but you've got to be aligned with it. If you try to hire a coach and says, "Yeah, I want to have a face-to-face meeting with you, once a month," and you don't have interest in that or don't have capacity for that, I don't think you need to change their methodology if that's the way they work. I had another coach one time that said the only engagements they do that are successful using their methodology take a year. They said, anytime we try to do it less, it doesn't work. Well, okay, I'm not going to challenge that if that's their methodology, but if I don't want a year,
Right.
if I want a trial, they're going, well, we don't do trials because it won't work.
Right.
So the methodology, just a couple more. Chemistry with that individual. Again, you don't have to have a perfect values alignment, but if you don't like the
If you
person,
don't enjoy it, you
don't enjoy it. Now, you can say, well, there's some coaches that have helped me in my life that I didn't
like.
particularly So I don't want to overplay that, but if they get on your nerves and you find them to be obnoxious, now how do you know this? You need to interview coaches
Right,
before
right.
you sign a coaching contract. And then the last thing I referenced a moment ago is you got to figure out what it costs.
Yeah.
I know coaches that work for $49 an hour, and I know one coach that if you want him, it costs you $1 million a year,
Yeah.
and they're everywhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'll say a word there. I think you do need to know your budget. Obviously, how much can you invest in this? But I would say this: if you're investing in a coach, to me, I've always thought it actually should pay off in the long. I mean, you're going to gain way more than even go back to as small as buying a book. I mean, that's not a coach, but if you bought a book, I mean, I've heard people say before, I can't afford to buy a $20 book. You might get $1 million idea of a $20 book. To me, it's like I've always just thought that is a sunk. I won't say sunk cost. But that is a sunk
It's
cost.
an investment.
It's an investment. Is the way I would say it.
That you want to
why I have
return.
so many books.
You want to return.
That I want to return on that. Exactly right. But when I invest in that coach, yeah, you may pay a few $1,000s for that, or what, or hundreds of thousands, whatever, depending on the level that you're thinking here. But that's going to make you better. And I'm guessing it costs Tiger Woods a penny to have the best coach in the world for him at that moment.
Well, let's talk about value proposition. I mean, I think we need to go there, which is one reason I'm so excited to have the coaches that we have.
Yeah, it's great.
We have almost 100% renewal
Retention
year
after year, yeah.
which tells me we're adding value.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
right.
if you're writing a check, you have to get value.
Exactly.
And that's on the coach
That's right.
to bring the value.
That's right. That's a good reminder there. That's good. So yeah, we think coaching is important. We think you probably should hire a coach if you've got an area you really want to, and not just an area. It might be multiple areas here. The mentor thing yesterday we talked about, but you may have an area or two that a coach could really help you accelerate. And if you need that, I would encourage you to begin to look for and identify the person who can help you the most. If we can help you, let us know. You can go to leadeveryday.com and get some information on our coaching. That'd be great. We're doing a lot of executive and life coaching, which is fun. But it really is on you. Again, you said it just a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned this a couple of times since then. It's on you to own your own growth and your own self-leadership. We hope you'll do that. Keep coming back. Tomorrow we got one more episode this week for you on this quest we all are on to become better leaders. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for that. All right, remember, the best leaders lead every day.